All right, so we're continuing here. Like I said, the 100 songs. I'm just going through the bands, man. The albums, band. I'm just going through the bands on here. This is what Metal Hammer, these lousy British tabloid mainstream metal cucks have put out. Right? So we're going to the bands. Now Saint Vitus. Now I'm more familiar with the like Saint Vitus. I know historically them and Trouble sort of started your doom metal. The Saint Vitus I've heard from this like the first album, it's fucking great stuff, man. It's great. Was it Wino? The guy's name is Wino, but I haven't heard enough of it. But of course, now you got Hellhammer, you got Celtic Frost. This is this band just getting better, and there they are. Okay, Tom G. Warrior. This dude made some of the best fucking riffs in metal, straight up. Okay, I know he's a little downbeat dude. I know life's fucked us all up, but mate, if I ever meet you in Zurich for some reason, if I'm ever in Zurich for some reason, and I see you, man, I'm gonna give you all the props, dude. And he did, and the guy doesn't give himself enough credit. But the thing with Hellhammer is the EP Apocalyptic Rage is actually not that great. I'll be honest with you, it's not that impressive. Okay, the demos, the two demos they made, including and this Triumph of Death is like kind of a riff on Buried Alive by Venom, just like Bathory's Call from the Grave is the same. But the two demos they made that are almost like they can't even play the instruments. They have like punk level skills. Those are good. Those are the real Hellhammer, right? And then when you get to Celtic Frost, I mean Circular Tyrants, man, boy, they kick it up a notch with those fucking riffs, dude. This fucking riff master, one of the best fucking riff metal dudes ever, Tom G. fucking Warrior. That's right. Wasp, man. I tell you, Wasp. That's another fucking great band too. So I argue that they had an influence. They're sort of in between that weird world. Not really. They're not hair metal, dude. In the early '80s, them Dokken, who's not on this fucking list by the way, which is a crime. These are '80s metal. This is metal, dude. This is metal. Okay, your black metal stuff is related to this, man. But fucking Wasp, man. I know Possess is I don't think they're that great. I don't know. Maybe I gotta listen to it more, but they're more like a historical thing. But the band Death was actually way better. Maybe, but fuck Candlemass is on here. I'm glad they're high up here. Candlemass is another underrated band, Swedish band, doom metal. Influenced by guys like this and Trouble. But with the singer dude, Messiah McCollin, man, that dude could sing his fucking ass off, man. So and they have so many good fucking songs. Of course, you are Bewitched, the one with Dead in the video, which is kind of funny. That's a great video, but there's so many better songs from Candlemass. Nobody remembers them. They were heavy as shit. It's just that Messiah was like an opera singer, he like King Diamond, that kind of sort of level, he wasn't a death metal dude. Oh, I remember I used to, looking back now at the big four, when I was younger, okay, to me, it was Slayer and Anthrax, right? Anthrax was like the local, New York band, and Slayer was just fucking unbelievable, right? Metallica, everybody liked me. Your mother liked Metallica. Megadeth was the odd man out, and he sort of was kind of a dick, Dave Mustaine. Decades later now, where it's far too late for it to matter, Megadeth actually, in my opinion, probably comes out the best out of those four bands, or at least up to Slayer level. Anthrax really falls down the hill, in my opinion. I mean, this dude was probably the best guitarist out of the whole thing, not just in terms of his technical ability, but his ability to write like riffs. I mean, the Megadeth riffs now. Okay, you got to appreciate them. You have to have like maybe a little more maturity. But when you realize, I mean, this fucking guy was the guy, dude. Okay, this was the fucking dude, man. Dave Mustaine was the guitar fucking god of that fucking movement, right there, straight up. And speaking of, Fucking Slayer, dude. Angel of Death. Of course, they bring the song, right? They bring up the, right, the idea that, Slayer was going from the satanic stuff to singing about, like, serial killers and, not Joseph Mengele, right? I remember, too. Remember Satanic Wear Max shirts? Remember, Slayer is controversial because of the Nazi imagery. And Angel of Death, remember, that's the first song on Rain and Blood, man. Fucking Rain and Blood. The first time I heard that, I still couldn't process it. Even Varg likes that album. You can't get crazier than that album. Even the death metal stuff, you gotta understand, when I heard this, man, I didn't even know that this was the heaviest thing there was at the time. Oh, right, and then the bridge riff, the breakdown as they call it, in that song is so fucking, yeah, man. And straight up, this dude, talk about double bass, Dave Lombardo. The guy is almost forgotten. This dude was the fucking guy that pushed your drum into the next level. Right? Your double bass stuff is from this fucking band, straight up. Not from fucking Lars, I'll tell you that. Where's Lars? I don't see Lars nowhere. I passed that band. Fuck. Alright, now this is funny. Now look at the fucking, jeez. I always talk about Napalm Death, right? Pretty much by the early 90s, Napalm Death is kind of... Fear, Emptiness, Despair is like their last really good album. Mark Greenway, he's alright. But the fucking... The early Napalm, and this is as early as you get. This is when they were just doing demos. Look at the fucking kids. Justin Broderick, of course, he becomes more famous later with Godflesh. Fucking Nick Bullen and fucking Mick Harris. They look like fucking bloody kids here, but obviously they're not. They're younger. They're not that young. They can either, unless they're drinking underage back in 1986. Now it's funny reading about this too. The album Scum, right? Of course, the first album, the A side is by these dudes, and the B side, Mick is the only guy left, and you have Lee Dorian, Bill Steer, and of course Shane Embury, right? Who later. Shane's the only one still in the band now. Of course, Bill went on to Carcass, and Lee went on to Cathedral, but the earache stuff, man. But this is '86, man. This is My Cruel, was it Bananarama, as they call them. This was like '86. And it's funny, interesting Justin Broderick. Of course, the song Scum, you're right, you have like the groove part. We were totally obsessed with Celtic Frost, right? Once again, Tom J. Warrior, the breakdown riff. Dude, fucking Tom J. Warrior. Okay, influenced your hardcore music, yeah, with those fucking breakdown riffs, dude. And fucking Earth Crisis, everyone you could fucking think of. And I just, in terms of like, now these fucking guys, I mean, he does the Scorn, he's kind of like a DJ dude. Nick looks like fucking Benny Hill, but he's fucking cool. And Justin looks like hell, dude. Life has really done a number on him. But I just I like how they, in terms of the music, dude, the fucking demos. Listen to the Napalm Death demos, right? Hate Surge and from enslavement to obliteration, and you get to hear it's not like there's as much influenced by Swans, Killing Joke, right? Of course, Siege, the Siege, we all know Siege, right? And the music was very atonal. You could argue a lot of the stuff sounds like black metal, like Burzum. It's kind of interesting, right? And it's just kind of funny too when he was when they're talking about it. Who was Scum named that, right? And this says a lot, man. This says a lot. At this point in '86, I'm a little younger than these dudes, and obviously we're all old now, and we've seen a lot of stuff happen. Who was Scum named that, right? Nick wrote the lyrics, right? So he would be the best person to comment. But how I saw it back then was an attack against our overseers, right? Those who chain us, those in power, right? That hasn't changed. We were both becoming increasingly disenchanted with the human race as a whole. I think initially we intended to inform, protest, but both Nick and I became more nihilistic, especially from this period onwards. Yeah, man. Yeah, fucking Godflesh. You listen to fucking Godflesh. You know, I always said to myself, there's certain ways of looking at things didn't pan out, and they sort of haven't panned out. And I'm talking about a certain form of nationalism, I guess you'd say, which has been fucking all your leaders in it are feds essentially, or idiots, or sociopaths. What's the next step? I was always afraid the next step would be nihilism, and I can't say I am nihilistic, but maybe more ancient ways of thinking are will have to suffice. Why did I, man? I was about bands. I'm bringing everybody. Well, anyway, Napalm Death, the top 10 band in my book, man. Voivod. I don't. You know what? I never really listened to Voivod. I need to listen to them. I've heard songs from them. There's only how many bands can you listen to? Oh, now here's an example. When I was younger, I really loved Anthrax. I'm the Man. They did rap metal. They were a joke. They were this. They had a lot of good songs. I'm not gonna lie. Joey Belladonna could fucking sing his ass off, man. I wasn't sure if he was an Italian or if he was a Native American. but now, you know, Scott Ian aside, it hasn't really aged as well. I'll be honest with you. I'll really be honest with you. Of course, the first couple of albums are still pretty good, but you know, I'm just thinking. Remember, I'm going beyond the music. Right? It's not just music and we shut it off. There is meaning to this shit. Maybe that's the problem with us pale faces. We put too much meaning on things. And all right, well, Guns N' Roses. Everybody like Guns N' Roses. You know, I mean, you look at them and what's that? Satanic Worm. I was telling you about that, but you know, all the hair metal stuff that was out. Actually, looking back, right, the hair metal. A lot of that stuff was a lot better. I'll be honest with you when you think about the music now, but even back then, a lot of stuff, even Warrant, a lot of that stuff was actually pretty good. You know, even though I would be like, "Oh, you poser." No, back then, my 13-year-old ass calling people posers. Can you imagine? But Guns N' Roses, of course, man, they took it to like a different, like they had credibility with people because they were really like fucking rocking dudes, man. There was an edgy. This is some of the edgiest stuff you could argue that was played on Z100 in New York. But anyway, I mean, there's enough Guns N' Roses stuff to go around. Living Colour, remember? Oh, they're black guys playing rock and roll, remember? And Vernon Reid, the guitar player, right? The Black Rock Coalition. Like, what the fuck? Well, that being aside, though, man, Cult of Personality. What a fucking song that was, dude. Were great. The lyrics were amazing. Corey Glover, remember Corey Glover? Remember the video? What song was that? Where he's on the train reading 2000 A.D. Where she bought at Forbidden Planet. The New Yorker guys, we would know that, but you know, I mean, this was the only really good album they really had. Maybe I think the second album was alright, but man, Vernon Reid, man, it was funny when you listen to him play. You know who he sounds like? He sounds like Vinnie Vincent. Yeah. And you're right, they played this song all the time. What a great fucking song, lyric wise. It holds up now. Right, so Halloween is great. I've heard Halloween. Never really got into it just because there's how much stuff can I get into. But these dudes, man, the guy can sing. He sings like a fucking opera singer. He's got that the pipes, as they say. But musically, this was pretty much like fucking really technical thrash kind of music, right? The double bass drumming was on this, but you know, it's something to be rediscovered. Let's finish this off. Bathory, of course, the later Bathory. I haven't really heard too much of the Viking stuff, but the influence of how was huge. I liked early Bathory. I'm sure I'll like this listening to it. Fucking Quorthon. Ministry and more music that I liked when I was younger that has not aged as well. So, Stigmata, of course, Mine is a Terrible Thing to Taste is really, even better than the New World Order or whatever that was, the album that came out in the early 90s. But, like I said, there's consequences to being a fucking moron, Al Jorgensen. And Jane's Addiction, I'm not this. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing in Metal Hammer? That's it.